Today, we are going to learn how to add an ERV or an HRV to an S30 or an E30 iComfort thermostat with the 2.0 Smart Hub. Note that the Smart Hub that is on the E30 thermostat shown here is the same as the standalone Smart Hub for the standalone 2.0 Smart Hub found in the S30 packaging. It's important to understand that if we're going to add these ventilation components to an existing S30 thermostat, that'd be the 1.0 Smart Hub here, the one that has the two antennas, then we'll need to make sure we upgrade to the 2.0 Smart Hub version first before proceeding. The 2.0 version only has one antenna and comes equipped with the accessory terminals needed for wiring these components. Once we are assured that we have the current Smart Hub installed, these components can be added at the time of install or at a later time of your choice. In addition to having the correct Smart Hub, it is also important to know that the thermostat must have the latest software version, 3.66, to make sure the accessory terminals, ACC1 and ACC2, labeled here as future use, on the 2.0 Smart Hub will be active and that HRV62 software is present.
To check for the current software version, we will need to go up here to the upper right-hand corner and click on the white boxes. We would want to go to the settings. And when we first power up this thermostat, it's very important that we make sure we get the Wi-Fi turned on, get the access code from the homeowner, and make sure that we have the 3 green check marks. This ensures that we're connected to the customer's router, the internet, and more importantly, our server in Dallas, Texas. Once we have the 3 green check marks, we can then come over here to the General tab. And from General tab, we want to go into the About section. And this is where we see the latest software updates of both the thermostat and the Smart Hub. As you can see here, the Smart Hub does have the latest and greatest 3.66, but in the event it has, let's say, the 3.4 as it came right out of the box, we may need to come down here to the software update section and check for updates. In some cases, you may have to toggle this on and toggle it off, toggle it back on to see if we get any current software updates to see if they're available. It's also important to know that if nothing immediately comes up when you check for the update, you may have to wait a couple hours or wait overnight in some cases before the system updates itself automatically. Before adding the equipment to the thermostat, we must first connect our ERV or our HRV to the ACC1 and ACC2 accessory terminals as outlined in the installation manual. If you do not have the installation manual on site at the time of install, it can simply be found on linuxpros.com. And here we have the homepage of linuxpros.com. I just would like to point out that there are a couple different ways to access the install manuals on the website. However, I'm going to show you the quickest and easiest way. And if we come up here to this, let's call it a little menu key, and we scroll till we get to the document library. Once we get into the document library, we can do a keyword search for the specific product that we're looking for. And in this case, we want to find the wiring diagram for the ERVs and HRVs within the S30 thermostat, or E30 thermostat for that matter. So we're going to select installation instructions, and then we're going to go to downloading installation instructions. Please note that you can also download the instructions from the Lennox Pros app. Once we're into the installation instructions, we need to go to the wiring configuration or application for the ERVs and HRVs. And so I'm going to scroll through the manual here until I get to the application specific portion. And it looks to me like the ERVs and the HRVs are located right here on page 16. Notice there are 2 different ways. We have a single stage and 2-stage ERV or HRV, but we also have a 6-inch damper used for ventilation control. And these are the wiring methods for that. It's important to know for a 2-stage, ACC1 is always low stage. Now that we have determined the thermostat has the latest and greatest software, and the equipment is connected to the accessory terminals, we can now add the non-communicating equipment inside the thermostat. And we're going to do that simply by going up to the white check boxes in the upper right hand corner. From there we want to go into settings, and then we want to go into advanced settings. This is where we have access to the dealer control center. Notice here, it does give you a caution screen if you're a homeowner, because this is intended for qualified Lennox equipment installers. However, anybody can hit proceed, but this is where we're going to go find our equipment, installation parameters, notifications, test modes, diagnostics, installation report, and so forth. So we want to first go into the equipment section, and it's here in this section that we want to add and remove equipment. Again, once the correct software is in place, it now gives me these options to select the type of ventilation control system I want to add. For the sake of today, I'm going to select the 2-speed. Note, it is saying that we're waiting while we check for dependencies. Once this takes place and is activated, we can then go back up to, notice here, 2-speed HRV was added. We come back up here, exit out of equipment, and if we were to go into the Smart Hub portion of this, we will now find the ASHRAE 62 software ventilation requirements loaded into this portion of the screen. With that equipment not connected, it will not give you these options to change ventilation control mode, minutes per hour, rate for low speed, rate for high speed, etc. Our installation manual has the information necessary for you to size and select the different options. And so I would encourage you to go through that in order to make sure that you set these parameters correctly. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful with adding ERV and HRV components to the S30 and E30 thermostats.